They called the cops on me before I even got the first box inside. Seriously, I wasn't even through the front door yet. Just me, a couple of boxes, a folding chair, and this woman's already storming across the driveway. Phone out, camera rolling, talking about suspicious activity, like I'm not standing right there in broad daylight. She dials 911 on speaker, tells the dispatcher there's a trespasser, and I'm just standing there, keys in one hand, box cutter in the other, wondering if I should say something or just let the absurdity run its course. You ever had a welcome like that? Let me know, 'cause I still can't believe it. Let me back up a sec. Saturday morning, sun barely up, pine trees throwing long shadows over my little mountain cabin, and here I am, 38 years old, finally unloading my own stuff after years of renting in the city. I've saved for this place, worked late, cut corners, skipped vacations. I step out of that oversized rental truck, take a breath so deep I almost cough. Mountain air, man, it hits different. I'm thinking about my grandma's ceramic dishes packed extra careful, about the promise I made myself to slow down, start fresh, be a homeowner for once. And then, bam, door slams, footsteps crunching gravel. Here comes Monica Reeves, HOA president, looking like she's headed for a courtroom, not a neighborly chat. Blonde helmet hair, khaki uniform, clipboard at attention, eyes locked on me like she's sizing up a threat level. She starts snapping photos of my boxes. Doesn't say hi, doesn't ask my name. Just, excuse me, are these containers hazardous or unregistered? Like I'm smuggling uranium in from out of state that I try to play it friendly. Tell her I'm Daniel Brooks. Just moved in. Everything's above board. She steps in closer, doesn't smile, just tells me HOA policy requires advanced inspection before I can even unload. Next thing I know, she's opening boxes, my boxes, peeking inside, taking more photos. When I try to show her my ownership certificate, she just waves it away like it's a fake coupon for free pizza. Anyone can forge paperwork, she says. Lady, it's notarized, stamped, cleared by the bank. But she's dialing 911 before I can get another word in.so. There I am, getting my mug shot for the HOA watch list before breakfast, Monica narrating every move for her phone. Yes, 911. There's a suspicious man unloading a truck. Claims he owns property, but I have doubts. She says it with the kind of drama you'd reserve for a hostage situation. Meanwhile, I'm trying to remember if I paid the parking meter on the rental. Within minutes, the neighborhood's waking up, curtains twitch, a couple folks drift over, one starts filming, and Monica's still holding court, promising I'll be off the gravel in 10 minutes, or she's calling 911 again. Even Diane, her sidekick from next door, pops out to clock the scene, eyes darting between us like she's checking for witnesses. Honestly, I've never felt more like a criminal for moving a box of plates. And then, as if on cue, a security contractor strolls by, official-looking patch, radio, the whole bit. Monica pounces, but he just tips his cap and says, "Contract expired last month, ma'am. Budget cuts." Her face drops, and for a split second, I almost feel bad. Almost. The street goes dead quiet. No dogs, no lawnmowers, just Monica, staring at her clipboard like it'll give her backup. I start to wonder, am I missing something? Did I accidentally trigger the HOA apocalypse? My mind's racing, worst-case scenarios popping up. What if my paperwork's wrong? What if the bank screwed up? But before I can spiral, that patrol car pulls up, and this is where the twist hits. Officer Carter gets out, looks at me, and breaks into this giant grin. "Daniel Brooks, haven't seen you since the charity fundraiser. Man, how's the new place?" You could hear Monica's jaw hit the gravel. Turns out Carter and I go way back, helped organize events, raised money for the department. His partner knows me too. Suddenly, this suspicious trespasser is shaking hands with the cops, and Monica's face is the definition of whiplash. Carter looks over my paperwork, gives Monica the world's politest education on what counts as a real emergency, and lets her know that moving boxes at 10 a.m. doesn't exactly qualify. Neighbors start coming out now that the danger is over, whispering and chuckling, and Monica tries to pivot, but he's disrupting the community. He could be violating noise ordinances. Carter just shakes his head, tells her there's no issue, and throws in a little warning about misusing 911. Future calls like this might cost her $500 a pop. That landed. Monica blanches, Diane slides away, and suddenly everyone's talking about garden parties instead of criminal activity. But Monica's not finished. Oh no. That night, there's a flyer on my porch with non-compliant resident. Proceed with caution, stamped across my driver's license photo. The next day, orange stickers on my trash cans. Improper placement, apparently. Even my Bluetooth speaker playing Sweet Caroline gets me a noise violation notice. She's handing out violation slips like Halloween candy. Only nobody's scared anymore. If anything, people are starting to roll their eyes, swap stories, even offer to help me move my couch just to see what Monica will do next. A few days later, there's a community meeting. Monica's got charts, posters, photos of my truck, evidence piled high. She calls me out, says my move required emergency intervention, paints herself the hero. But the crowd isn't buying it. Julia Evans from down the street stands up, says her daughter used the same rental truck. A retired lawyer in the front row asks to see the HOA bylaws. Monica can't produce anything but shaky printouts and a lot of bluster. I ask for the official minutes approving her so-called 48-hour notice rule. She freezes, shuffles papers, gets mad, tells me I'm barely tolerated. That's when the mood shifts, the room turns, people start murmuring, and suddenly it's Monica on the defensive. Next twist, an ethics committee is formed right there, signatures collected for a recall. The stories spill out. Folks have been dealing with her nonsense for years, but my moving day was the last straw. By the end of the week, Carter stops by with official news. Monica's 911 stunt is now on record. Anymore, and she's looking at fines. Julia delivers the recall petition. Over 60% of the community signed. When it goes to a vote, Monica's out, 27-4. Her apology at the next meeting is stiff, rehearsed, but she reads it, admits to inappropriate use of emergency services. New rule: 911 is for real emergencies, not HOA drama. Funny thing, once Monica's gone, everything changes. People bring casseroles, offer recommendations for contractors, even invite me to the holiday barbecue. Julie is interim president, and the community's lighter, almost like everyone can finally breathe. The peace I came looking for, I find right there in my little mountain cabin. The only thing left of Monica is an empty house and maybe a cautionary tale about power trips. So, yeah, sometimes the bully loses, but not before making you question your sanity. If you've ever dealt with an HOA tyrant, I want to hear it. Drop your story below. Tell me what you think. Was I right to stand my ground? Or should I have just grabbed my boxes and run for it? Either way, I'm not leaving. And trust me, in this neighborhood, the drama never really sleeps. You'd think after the recall vote, after Monica's public apology and that stiff little speech about inappropriate use of emergency services, things would finally settle down, right? For a while, it actually felt like they might. Neighbors were coming by with coffee and cookies. Julia was already planning a summer barbecue. And even Diane, yeah, the former sidekick, started making small talk over the fence about local hiking trails. For the first time since I'd rolled up in that rented truck, I felt like maybe this place could finally be home. But here's the thing about people who run on control. They don't let go easy. Monica still lived 3 houses down, and even though she'd handed over her HOA badge and packed away that infamous clipboard, I could tell she wasn't done. She'd walk her dog past my place every morning, giving me that look, half glare, half disbelief, like she was still trying to solve a puzzle she couldn't quite figure out. And let me tell you, that tension, you could feel it humming in the air, low and electric. I kept my head down, kept doing what I'd always wanted. Fixing up the garden, setting up my little home office with a view of the mountains, swapping stories with Mr. Patterson from across the street. He started coming by with his toolbox, offering to help with stuff that frankly I wasn't great at. The guy could rewire a lamp with one hand and tell you the entire history of the town with the other. One afternoon, as we were patching up a leaky gutter, he leans in and says, "Monica's not the first to forget what a community is really about. Just means the rest of us have to remind her." Yeah, that hit home, but old habits die hard. Within a week, Monica was back to her games. Only now, It was quieter, more underhanded. Little things started happening. My mail went missing for a few days. I got an anonymous letter about possible code violations for my porch lights being too bright. Someone reported my new garden shed as an unapproved structure. Julia would swing by, rolling her eyes, handing me another pointless notice and telling me not to worry. She'll get bored once she realizes no one's listening, Julia said. But honestly, I wasn't so sure. Then came the weirdest twist of all. Early one morning, there's a knock on my door, official, not neighborly. It's the county inspector, clipboard in hand, apologizing before he's even inside. Sorry, sir, but we've received repeated complaints about your property. It's probably nothing, but I have to take a look. He checks my shed, my porch, my trash bins, even the fire pit I hadn't used yet. Finds nothing. He's embarrassed, I'm annoyed, and by the end of it, we're both shaking our heads about the kind of person who has this much time on their hands. You ever get the feeling you're living in some kind of sitcom? Because I do. Except this one comes with real consequences, stress, wasted time, the feeling you're always being watched. Still, what can you do? You keep your cool, document everything, and try to remember you're not alone in this. And honestly, after that county visit, the tide really started to turn. More neighbors got involved. Julia started a group chat for the street. Mr. Patterson's granddaughter brought over flyers for a block party. Even Diane started inviting people over for coffee instead of gossip. Monica, though, she doubled down. Started parking her car in front of my driveway, accidentally letting her dog into my yard, taking pictures whenever I had a delivery. She went quiet at meetings, but you could see her sitting in the back, scribbling in that little notebook, looking for any angle to take back control. The last straw came one evening when I got served. Yep, actually served, with paperwork. Monica was filing for a temporary restraining order, claiming I'd threatened her leadership and created a hostile environment. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. Officer Carter had to come out again, this time in full official business mode. I offered him coffee. He shook his head and just looked tired. Off the record, this'll get thrown out before it hits a judge's desk. But I have to follow procedure. He handed me the incident report from the moving day, the warning issued to Monica about her misuse of 911, and gave me the kind of look you reserve for folks caught in the crossfire of something much bigger than themselves. By now, the whole neighborhood knew what was up. Julia gathered signatures for an official ethics complaint. The HOA board, finally under new management, opened an inquiry into all of Monica's complaints from the past year. Turns out, she'd filed more violations in 6 months than the previous 2 presidents combined. When Julia presented the stack of paperwork to the board, even Diane looked embarrassed. The community meeting where it all came to a head felt almost surreal. Monica tried to argue her case, said she was protecting the neighborhood, defending property values, all the usual lines. But the residents weren't buying it. One by one, people spoke up about the missed birthday parties because of noise complaints, the backyard barbecues ruined by pointless warnings, the way everyone tiptoed around for fear of being reported. And when Carter stood up to explain the consequences of her 911 stunt, that every call from her address would now be flagged, that future misuse could mean fines or worse, you could see something in Monica finally break. She packed up within a week, left the house she'd ruled over for years, moved out without a word. The for sale sign went up, and for the first time since I'd moved in, the street felt peaceful, like a storm had finally passed. Julia became the new president. Neighbors brought out chairs and lemonade for the next meeting, and we started talking about things that actually matter: gardens, local hikes, the best spots for stargazing. Sometimes I still catch myself expecting drama every time I see someone walking up the driveway. But more often, it's Mr. Patterson with a toolbox, or Julia with a fresh-baked pie, or Diane stopping by to apologize. Yeah, she actually did, and that took guts. If this whole saga taught me anything, it's that community only works when people stand up, speak out, and refuse to let fear or power games win the day. So here's my advice. If you ever find yourself facing a Monica, don't fight fire with fire. Just shine a light. Bring the receipts. Call the meeting. Tell your story. Neighbors might surprise you. Sometimes all it takes is one person saying, This isn't right. For the whole block to finally step out of the shadows. And if you've got a story about an HOA meltdown, power struggles, or neighborhood chaos, drop it in the comments. I'm all ears. Life's too short to let anybody scare you out of your own home. Besides, I'll take a real community, drama and all, over a silent street any day of the week. Yeah, that happened. And around here? Well, let's just say there's always another story waiting on the porch.